What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. So in this video, I want to talk about parents of a narcissistic ex and how they will sometimes give you the signs that their child who you're dealing with is in fact a narcissist. But a lot of times we don't pick up on it so early. It takes time before we really understand where they were coming from. Sometimes it takes years. For me, it took many, many years before I realized that the whole while the signs were there and they were all coming from the mother. And I'm not going to say mother-in-law because I never married her son. We have 2 children together, but we never got married. But some of the things that the narc's mother or father would say is things that the narcissist has already put inside their mind. Because don't think for 1 minute that all of these tactics that narcissists use, they don't use it on their parents. They're going to use it on the parents first because they want to present you to the parents. They want to present you with a squeaky clean image to the parents so that it can make them look normal, and sometimes the parents will be so overjoyed at the fact that you got a good one. You found a really, really valuable one this time. And, they're going to do whatever they can to try to keep you around because they know that something is not right with their children. They know that something is not right. They know that their children are unstable. They know that their children have a very dark side. And chances of them running you away from them, they just can't let that happen right away. So they're going to do everything they can to try to keep you around and make you a part of that family. So you have to be careful also with these people when you go to meet them, and they're quick to ask you things about how you feel about, children. How you feel about starting a family or marriage, and especially if you are a particular age, like a very young age, and you're not thinking about marriage or starting a family. You're not thinking about having children yet. You may want to continue, your education. So you're going to put starting a family and all that kind of stuff on a back burner for a while. But the narc's parents, they want you to just kind of think of how much the narcissists have spoke of you in such a great way, and this is something that makes them feel like, yeah, you're the one for him or you're the one for her, because they just can't stop talking about you. And it's like those are the signs right there. And, they all of a sudden just admire you just by the few minutes that they've sat there and talked to you. Like, you just met me and you're basically just pouring out how much you just love this and that about me, and you hardly even know me. Like, you are only going on what your son or what your daughter told you about me. So you have to be careful of the narc's parents because they're trying to get you hooked on to something, very toxic. They're trying to get you stuck into a situation that, you really want to take your time with. And you don't want to be involved in anything toxic to begin with, but it's not like right off. But again, the signs, they were always there. You just didn't pick up on it right away. And from my experience, I remember my ex, his mom used to always say, and this was after the fact, after the children, after the cheating, and after me giving him chance and chance again. It's like she would say this to me. She would always say, well, no matter what, you're going to always be there for him no matter what wrong he does and how many women he see behind your back, you're going to always take him back. And it's like she was feeding that to me. Like she wanted me to believe that that's what I felt. that's something that I told him. And I used to always wonder, like, why are you telling me this? And she would even say this in front of company, in front of their other family members. And me, I was just like confused. I would just sit there like, I don't remember saying it, and I don't feel that way. But I never said it. I never expressed it. I just sat there and just kind of took it all in. And I would be confused, and I would just think like, why is she saying this? But I would never clear the air. I would never clear it up. I would never speak up for myself. I was still in that phase of just going along and get along, just wanting to be a part of this family, wanting to be loved, wanting to be accepted. And I thought this was something she was saying in a way that would make me feel like I'm a good person for just putting up with so much with her son. I didn't know she was saying it's like God could have been giving it to me as a sign, and I just wasn't woke to that at the time. And that was a long time ago when the children were small. They were little. And so I just didn't pick up on it right away. And I look at that now, like a lot of times things from my past, dealing with narcissists from the past, it comes back to me now so clear. And I sometimes be like, dang, how did that get by me? But it just wasn't my time to really apply that, to my knowledge of even knowing what any of this is. I didn't have an idea what narcissism is at that time. I didn't know what it was. So I wasn't going to, know what to do with it anyway. So, I feel like God see fit that he can use me, and I'm grateful that he's able to use me now. And all of those things, all of that baggage from the past, I'm able to, unpack and just separate and put it in categories and break it down, and able to, just lay it out there in a way of teaching people what to look out for and what this means and what's going to come next. And how just giving you the tools, how I know best. I'm no professionalist or whatever, but I'm no doctor or anything, but based on my own experience. And it took a long time. And, even during that time, when I really didn't know what was going on, again, I could still go back and, just kind of like pick out, so that's what this meant, and that's what she meant by that, and this is what he meant when he was doing that. That's what all of that meant. Now I know. Now it's so clear to me. Now it's like I can teach people about it because I help myself with it, and I wouldn't be giving this to y'all if I didn't apply it to my own life first. I'm not just going to put a bunch of things out there. That's why sometimes it takes me a while to get back in the habit of recording, because sometimes my mind is just on overload. Like it's so much that's constantly coming back to me. And when I'm able to really just kind of chop it up, and just analyze what it really was, to record and make a video about it and stuff like that, like all of that really matters to me. And I really take this journey serious enough to say, I care about how I present what I went through, because some people, they say that, I read a lot of comments from people saying that they have went through this, we share similar experiences. And so, it's like it gotta be somebody out there that feel me, that know exactly what I've been through. I mean, because these people, they act the same. They do the same thing, the same tactics, the same, cycle of abuse that they use. So I know other people out there, they have experienced it the same way that I have. So, I know I'm talking to somebody when I'm doing these videos. I'm not just talking to myself. But at the same time, I had to teach myself before I was able to really even put this out there, because it was like God was giving this to me. This was a journey that I went on, and I accepted this. I accepted this as something that, it's something that was meant for me to do, like a calling. I really accept this and I recognize it as a calling now because it comes so easy. It's not always easy when you are like, it's not always easy when you don't have that good support system. I'm going to say that because even people in this community, I notice how sometimes they attacked each other, and it's like, why is that even happening? Because if you're focused on the message itself, if you're focused on what you're called to do, you don't even really have time to point out other things. It's like you're looking for something. It's just like you're looking for something that's taking you away from, the whole point of it all. And so that's kind of like, to me, what the devil wants to happen. Because as long as he could get people to go against each other, then it all falls apart. And then they're back on top. The devil's whole plan is to have power and control. The devil is a lie. And so he wants you to think that, he just have that superior, that, like he's superior over you, over everything, like the end all be all. And as long as you continue to fall for it and find yourself trapped within all of that, you just kind of take away from the spirit of what we're supposed to be doing. But anyway, back to what I was really talking about. The in-laws, it's like, the narcs parents, it's just like they were giving you the signs of who you're dealing with because they were telling you what the narc was telling them. And as long as you don't debunk it, it just gives that narc that image that they want. You're helping them to be this person that they're not. And the whole while, the narc, they targeted you because of your personality, because of, that light inside of you, something about you that they envy. They're jealous of you. They're very, very jealous of you. They're so jealous of you that they will hurt you. A narcissist hate everything about you. They hate your strength. They hate how well you carry yourself. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about, like your outer appearance. A lot of people could be fooled by the outer appearance, and that goes both ways, dealing with narcissists and dealing with people who are not narcissists. Because when you're looking, when you're on the outside looking in, you judge a situation based on just what that person, what they present to you. You're going to look at it for what you see, but you don't really know what it is. Like, my GoFundMe, let's use that as an example. You didn't know my financial situation until I put it out there, and I felt like God told me to use that. Like, it kept coming to me, and at first I was scared to do it, for fear of being judged and stuff like that. And it's like, but people are going to be like, you can't be in that situation. You have ads on your channel and you're doing this and you're working. You're always talking about work, but you still don't really know. That's just what I choose to present to you until I was able to really just open up and be just completely open about things that I really don't like to talk about, again, for fear of being judged. But I feel comfortable enough to share that with y'all because I feel like that y'all are my support system. Like, we support each other and there's no judgment that way. I know I don't judge people like that because I'm open-minded. I don't look at things like that. And I was hoping that people don't judge me, in that way. Just like people can look at you, oh, you keep your hair done. But what you don't know is that I do my own hair. I use hair that I use over and over again. My hair is recycled hair. Do you know how many times a year I can tell you that I buy hair? I don't have to because I keep it up. Like, when you're a well-kept person, people, they don't really know, how to judge you on that. They don't really know. They can't tell what's new or what's old, what's used and stuff like that because you well kept up. And I was raised that way. Like my mother, she made it look good to where you didn't really know our struggle. You didn't really know how we were always getting by and making it seem like it was so easy and we just got it made. And little did you know it was the total opposite from that because we didn't put everything out there and we remained humble. She was a very humble person, very quiet, very, private, stayed to herself, mind her business, didn't bother nobody. She was very sweet. She was loved by everyone around us. That was who my mother was. And it was just like we raised, my sister and I, in an image of that. And so it's hard for us to really put so much of ourselves out there, because people, they talk a lot. And that energy is just something that it weighs you down. I just can't take a chance of being around a lot of negativity. Like, it's just a waste of energy. That's wasting my time. Either you're going to give me, like, if you're going to keep it real with me, I could understand that, and that's something that I can accept. But to just be judgmental and, running your mouth about stuff you really don't know anything about just to have a conversation, I don't have time for that, and I'm not going to entertain, negativity. I'm just not. So, it is what it is. I appreciate those who have donated. I really, really appreciate those who donated because that morning when I did that video, I just tweeted, I say, Lord, why am I always at the very, very end of the line? I just felt like that, like this is just my life. Like it's just going to always be like this, and I might as well just go ahead on and accept it. You're going to always struggle, You're going to always barely get by. But again, people don't really even be knowing that about you because you don't put that out there. I don't put that out there by myself. I just don't want to talk about it. Like, what's the point of talking about it? But sometimes things could get overwhelming and God could put it on your heart, to share it because he has already put people there to help you. And not saying that everybody, people who didn't help me money-wise, that they're not here to help me. Even just being here, like coming to this channel, subscribing to this channel, that's even support. That's the support that I need. That gives me hope, and I just really appreciate that. And I really appreciate y'all for that. And that's what it's really all about, But yeah, it's just about being well kept. When you're just a well kept individual all around, that's the only thing that people are going to see. And it's like, again, it can be confused with a person who is a narcissist because they know how to put on an act of being someone who they're not. They can be pretending to be you. That's why people are like, oh, y'all, when with the narc who I used to be friends with, people are like, y'all are just alike, y'all are so close, oh, y'all are freaking frack and stuff like that. And it was just like, but how do you separate us? What do you get when you separate us? How would you describe us when you separate us? And it's just like, she was trying so much to be like me. Dress like me, talk like me, use my lingo, just every single thing, and just be so attached to everything that I have going on. And once I took that away from her, that's when I start to see her true colors and the mask slip. And I saw this very cold and dark person, that I never knew exist. So the thing about it is, those on the outside looking in, they did not know that was there. Just like y'all on the outside looking in didn't know what was going on, really, really, really going on with me. Because I'm well kept. I keep it all together. And you never know that, But things are gonna get better, and I really and truly believe that it is. I know that my new beginning is here. It's already here. I just have to claim it. Just knowing that it's already here, I receive it. I'm already ready for it, so. But anyway, I don't know. I done talked about so many things. But in this video, I was really supposed to be talking about how, the narcs parents, how they gave you the signs, but you were just ignoring it. Or even not so much ignoring it. You just really didn't know what they were saying. You didn't know what this was at the time. But they were telling you everything that the narc was putting in their ear. And you just didn't know. So the narcissists, they have been that way since probably a child. I really do believe that it started because he grew up in an abusive household. It comes from somewhere, whether you are a narcissist or you have been a victim of a narcissist. There's still been a void on both ends. Whether you come from a home, like I tell y'all, I was raised in a home with one parent, but don't think for 1 minute because I'm showing it, I'm not talking about it, that I'm not affected by the fact that my father chose not to be in my life. Because you don't know what's going on when the camera's turned off. You don't know, how many tears I've shedded about situations that have affected me from a childhood. You don't know if I don't share it, And it's hard to sometimes open up to people about things like that. I'm not ashamed to, but sometimes it's just hard to open up about things like that. But a narcissist, it's a lot of stuff that they're not going to share. And sometimes when they share things about their past, it's going to be very, very, they're going to give you bits and pieces of it, and they're not going to really want to talk about it again, because to them, it makes them look like that they lost. It makes them look like a victim. It makes them look like that, everything, like with them losing you as a good source of supply. They don't want to feel like they lost you. They want you to feel guilty for leaving, but they don't want to feel like they lost you. But if you talk to a narc who has, come up in a bad, relationship with their parents, they're not going to really want to talk about it. It's not going to be easy for them to open up about that without feeling like they have to get revenge, because a lot of times they can't. They can't get revenge. Their time has passed or their parents have passed on. So that's why they end up going through life finding people who they can hurt. They are finding people to hurt because they have to let that pain out some kind of way. I mean, that's kind of what I look at it as. They look for victims to get that revenge on because they couldn't get the revenge on their parents. Like it's misplaced anger and it's misplaced hurt. And that's where you come in at, and they just dump all of that on you. And it's going to continue to happen until you get out. But you're not going to, really know what's going on until it really comes to you. Like, my cousin used to tell me a long time ago, you have discernment. You have discernment. I used to be saying, yeah, I have discernment. But I didn't really feel it. I didn't really, it just didn't come to me till years down the line. I'm like, yeah, I have a very strong discernment. I really do. But just like everyone have a different level of pain, tolerance of pain. I have a very, very high tolerance of physical pain. I remember when I was in labor with my first, not by choice. I stayed home until I was 8 centimeters because the narc ex chose to come in late when he knew that I was already in labor and ready to go to the hospital. Okay. Ladies, y'all know when the water bag, when you start to leak, It's time to go to the hospital so they can check your dilation. And so I was having a slow leak all that day. He decided come home from work, not come home to me, go down to his parents' house, change, and then go out to celebrate the fact that he has a child on the way, not check on me. The whole while I'm still slowly leaking, on the verge of giving a dry birth, just as I did with my second child. I had a dry birth because I was neglected during the time that he should have really wanted to be there, and it's like the narc, he just was unavailable. So when he came in drunk. I'm probably like 5 or 6 centimeters at the time. I am dying to the point where I don't know what to do with myself. I can barely move. I'm in labor. I'm trying to wake him. And I know that he was able to wake. Anyone that really want to be there for you and really care about a situation like this, like your girl in labor, she getting ready to have a baby, and you really just gonna sleep on her? Anybody that really cared, it wouldn't have been that way. But see, back then, I didn't know who I was dealing with. I didn't know he was a narcissist. And it was all about him. He didn't care about that physical pain, labor pain. The closest thing to, the D word. So I remember going to go run some water, barely crawling, making it to the bathroom. Crawling into the tub. I'm like, Lord, if I'm going to have my baby, I'm going to have my baby in the tub. And I know it was becoming like daylight. So I'm hitting a wall because we lived in apartments so that my neighbor could come next door because he would already know. So he know I'm hitting a wall, getting the neighbor's attention. Then he jumps up. Oh, but you could have got up to check on me. I'm in labor already. But they got to make it all about them. Narcissists don't care about you. They don't care anything about your feelings, and they definitely don't care about your physical pain. Because it always have to be about them. It always have to be about them. And it was somewhat like that the same way with my second child. I mean, that was a dry birth. It was just like I was just neglected. It was just me and my little sister because I raised my sister. My mother passed. I was 18. She was 12. I was 18 with a 12-year-old. And I say that till today. It was my sister who ran down to the fire station because the fire station have the ambulance truck there. She ran a block down to the fire station, thank God for her, at 3 o'clock in the morning so they can come to the house and take him to the hospital. And then he pops up like, I was scared. I was looking for you. Like, no, you weren't. You was laying up with another woman, So it's like narcissists, they don't really care about what's going on with you to the point where they need to be there for you to give you comfort and support. They don't care about stuff like that. And the level of pain, it's like, just like I have a high tolerance of pain, a lot of you probably have a high tolerance of pain. There's always like a breaking point. And sooner or later, anyone dealing with a narcissist, sooner or later, that breaking point, when it comes, that's it. It's over with, done. And there ain't no coming back. So it's like people can't really judge you based on, well, why you stayed that long and why you this. It's just like you're just not there yet. It really haven't registered to the point to where you really understand the fullness of what's going on. Because if you did, and you really seen the evil on the other side, you would have ran a long time ago. Shut the door and never open it up. But you don't see that. It's like when it comes to you, it's going to come in due time. So I don't get on people like, you're going to keep going back. You're going to keep doing this. All I could do is give my support. I could offer my support and I could give you advice based on my own experiences. But I'm not going to, just flat out say, well, you should and you should. Because look how long it took me to get out. It just wasn't for me to realize at the time. I just couldn't get it. I couldn't get it together at that time, but when I did, and it's like he's still feeling it till today. Still feeling it. Can't let go. Have a hard time letting go. And the thing that he uses a lot is the car. My car. It's another reason why I want to get out of that car. Because I want something that'll be all for me. A whole new beginning that he's not attached on to. He's attached. His name is on that car. Both our names are on the car, okay? And I didn't put that out there at first because I don't want to be talking about him in that way, like we still coexist in that way. It happened because he owed me a favor from what I have done so much for him. But when I accepted that favor, I didn't really know that he was a narc. I didn't know he was a narc. I thought like, dang, he really have a heart. So you're going to co-sign for me to get a car? But I didn't know that he was a narcissist. I would have went without one. I would have went without that card. You know, had I known that he was the person that he is. And it took me a very, very long time to figure that out. Well, I just figured it out after 20 years. I just didn't know, you know. And I figured it out earlier than that with the narcissist who I work with, before I figured out with the man that I laid with 20 years ago. See how they go? So you just, you know. So anyway, I know this video was like all over the place. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead on and end it right here. Thank y'all for watching again. Thank y'all for y'all love and support. I really love and appreciate y'all for being here. And leave y'all thoughts down below, and I will talk to you soon.